Alrighty, everyone. We are going to get started. I respect your time, so I'm going to make sure that you guys are out of here to go enjoy the rest of your wonderful day outside. If you want to do some gardening, all of those things. So, first thing, welcome to our Toxic Truth workshop. We are going to really get into the everyday toxicity, anything from the air that we breathe to what we put on our body to the clothes that we are living in on a daily basis, because all those things matter and they add up over time. So let me get my handy dandy clicker here. All right, a little bit about our office. We opened about 14-ish years ago, Dr. Brent and Dr. Jill. They are on the right side over there. You very much know him, most likely. I am Dr. Carly, though. You might not know me. I primarily am in my cave back there with awesome kiddos like these two, and really working with pregnant mamas and just women in general. So very nice to meet everyone. I can't wait to jump into all of this. I do want to go over this first. This is your packet. So the first page is all about kind of what we do in our office. There's going to be a little bit of a quiz in a second. You might get a giveaway. The second page here, this is a note kind of taking. So if you, looks like everyone already has a good foundation to write on. The next one is going to go through some supplements here. And then we can get into more of our supplements, some really great QR codes, and then some recipes. We'll go over this kind of a little bit more, but that is what your packet consists of. So let's jump into it here. So as Max Living, which is the network that we are under, our mission is really to radically change the lives of 34 million people through the 5 essentials. So first quiz for a giveaway, what are the 5 essentials? Anyone, raise your hand. Yeah. One of them is, yes, I'll have you go.
Nutrition, mindset, oxygen and exercise.
Perfect.
Minimize your toxins.
Yes, ma'am. You can read. Congrats. I'm going to give you a mug here.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. So on a daily basis, we are exposed to over 70,000 toxic chemicals. So kind of like what I was talking about, the clothes that we're putting on our body, the things that we're breathing in, the food that we're eating, and those are adding up really over time. And what it does is it really creates this toxic environment in our body because we are meant to handle toxins. Our liver does an amazing job, our kidneys, we sweat. But what happens is this overload. We are not meant to handle 70,000 toxins. That's a lot. So we have to help our body get rid of those, and we have to minimize as much as we can to make sure that our body can still function, not have things like metabolic disease popping up and things like that. So there are 2 really different types of toxins. There are natural ones, which are like mold and things that are in the ground, like heavy metals and different things like that. We really can't control some of that. Yes, if you have mold in your house, you need to get rid of that for sure. But when it rains and then we go outside and we are gardening, there is naturally going to be mold around us. On the other side of it, though, we have these synthetic toxins. We have things like pollutants. We have things coming out of cars. We have pesticides that we are eating on a daily basis. And all of these things that we have man-made into our world. What the WHO has talked about is that 24% of global deaths are because of toxins. So that's about 1 in 4 deaths that they're seeing now are actually because of the world around us really making an impact in there. So I talked a little bit about, well, our body is meant to handle these things, but the overload and really the dysfunction that can go on in our body is what creates the damage. Toxins interfere with our body's natural functions. They lead to long-term damage, really at the cellular level, which then eventually leads to symptoms and diseases. So what are those symptoms and diseases? These are just the surface of it. There's so many more, but anything from autoimmune diseases. So we're thinking thyroid issues, Hashimoto's, big things like that. Respiratory conditions, asthma being a huge one because all asthma is dysfunction of the lungs. We're looking at neurological disorders, hormone disruption, weakened immune system, digestive issues, and skin conditions. Those are all signs that your body has toxicity in it. Those are all things, though, too, that you can heal from. We see it on a daily basis in our office. And that's really what we're going to get into, is talking about how we can heal from these things, because we all know someone, or even yourself, who has one of these. So I kind of want to debunk some common myths about toxins. The first is that if it is sold in a store, it is safe. Yeah, no. The world that we live in, specifically the US, there's really no regulations of what can be on shelves. Yes, some of that is changing currently, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But right now, almost everything that is on a shelf has some type of toxicity or chemical in it. The second one is that organic products are always toxin-free. I wish that would be super, super awesome. Unfortunately, some of these are still exposed to pesticides. If we're seeing in a store of one by each other, if one thing is not organic and the other one is, absolutely those things can combine and you can get some toxicity there. The next one is that small exposures don't matter. They do. 70,000 per day. Those are all really small ones on there, and they add up over time. So just because, well, only one time a week I have this, or only one time a week I go into Bath and Body Works and smell the things, well, that's going to add up over time. And so, talking about regulation, the FDA does not require pre-market safety testing for personal care products. So specifically for my women in the group, yes, men put personal products on their body too. There is really no regulation that happens. Only 11 toxic chemicals in cosmetics compared to over 1,300 in Europe are actually regulated currently. So that's super scary if you look at other countries versus ours. In their countries, they are absolutely against these things, and they know that it's causing things like cancer and metabolic disorders. And then in our country, we're just putting it on our body, and we're putting it on our kids' bodies too. So it's really scary if we start to look at what is in these things and what can they be causing. I am a pediatric chiropractor, so it's very important to me that we do talk a little bit about pregnancy, childhood, and different things like that. The blood-brain barrier in adults is a super awesome thing because it restricts the passage of substances between the bloodstream and the brain. So it helps protect the brain from harmful substances, like all of this toxicity. A baby in utero doesn't have that. And if it is, it's a very, very minimal. So anything a pregnant mom is putting on her body, in her body, is directly going to a baby. So if we look over here, 90% of pregnant US women have 62 chemicals in their body out of 163 that were screened. So we're looking at all things from lead to phthalates to PCBs there to PAHs, and really anything in between, pesticides being a huge one. So it matters what pregnant women are putting in their body, not just for them, because yes, we want to protect them, but it matters for their baby. They have no way of protecting themselves, so it's up to the mom, and really the dad too, of what he is putting on his body, because mom will be exposed to that as well. Very interesting.
Here, baby skin is 50% more absorbable than adults. So for an adult, yeah, you could probably put something on your skin, wash it off, no big deal. A baby's gonna absorb that really almost immediately. So very, very crucial that we're looking at what we're putting on our babies and our kids' bodies, because we think over time, when I grew up, you guys grew up, there was a lot less in our world in the sense of toxicity. And now even more, we're putting so much on our skin, and babies are starting to see really scary statistics. We know autism is going up, childhood diseases are going up, ADHD, ADD, those are skyrocketing right now. And it goes back to all of this. If our body was functioning and healthy, these things wouldn't be happening in there. Looking here, so we're gonna go into the hidden dangers. What do we need to be really aware of? So we're gonna start with foods. There are 10,000 approved chemicals that we are putting in our food. Really the biggest kind of scary ones, so we're looking at low fat, 0 calories, bright colors, and addictive additives. A lot of the things that we see in foods, they are addictive in nature. There are things in there that make you want more and more, and that's because the food industry is really smart. Yeah, you get addicted to their food because of the chemicals in it, and then you want more and more, and they grow in revenue, which is really smart of them, but it's awful for our bodies. These bright colors, all throughout here, we're looking at red dye, we're looking at yellow, we're looking mental. I hear it almost on a daily basis. Well, my kid, every time they have red dye, they get angry. They have these outbursts. They can't focus at school. Digestive issues are happening. Yeah, because those are chemicals for our body, and we can't get rid of those. And especially a kid really is having a hard time getting out of those things. 0 calories. That was, I would say probably in the early 2000s, like 0 calories, that means it's healthier for you. You're not going to get fat. Well, what is the exchange for that? 0 calories just means they add a bunch of extra stuff in to, one, make it taste good, and two, to make it where it's sucralose versus an actual sugar in there. And we know that things like that cause huge gut imbalances. It can really affect just the absorbing the nutrients we're getting. Unrelated to this, but our nation consumes thousands and thousands of millions of pounds of food really on a daily basis. And we're one of the most malnourished countries. There is no reason why the US that is thriving should be malnourished, and it's because we are not putting actual food into our body. We are putting 0 calories, bright colored additives, and then really the low fat in there too. Low fat is not a good thing. We need fat. Our brain develops from fat, especially a kid. Yes, there are bad fats and there are good fats, but we have to have fat in order for our brain to be growing and developing. So really the ingredients to avoid, we're looking at sucralose, MSG, which is your additive. We're looking at dyes, corn syrup, and any artificial ingredients. So read your labels, they matter. Less, the better. Looking here, so talking about some things that are changing. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is finally banning red dye 3 from foods, which is amazing. That's a huge celebration. Yes, clapping. But what about the others? And actually, in the past couple days, we have seen all over the news that that is the next push, is to remove all dyes from food within the end of the next year, not that year, next year there. So that's super awesome. But the thing is it going to happen? Are people going to listen? Are bills going to change before that? The food industry runs our country. It runs really our nation. So super great, but people like us have to push for it. And when we don't buy things, they don't get money in there. So that's really great, and I really hope it becomes a thing because it's going to make a massive difference. So toxic ingredients on food. So rather in food, we're looking at on food. Over 90% of Americans have detectable levels of pesticides within their body. And that is coming from farming in our country, which, yay farming, that's amazing. But why they are getting mass produce is because of the things that they're putting on it. These are neurotoxic. They interfere with brain function, they're linked to hormonal imbalances, reproductive issues, and even cancer in there. So very important that we are looking at pesticides on our food. And we are going to look at something called the Dirty Dozen in a minute of talking about what are the most toxic foods that have the most amount of pesticides on them. So another thing that matters is food prep and storage. It matters where you are storing your food. The worst thing that you could store your food in is actually a black plastic storage container. And anywhere you go for takeout, it's in a black plastic container. You get a black fork in there. That has the highest level of chemicals in it, actually. So yes, you'd be better off doing like a clear one, but black actually has been linked to the most toxic one in there. Also at home, it's important to think about, well, what are you preparing your food on? Are you using things like aluminum foil? Probably yes, we have all used that in our life. Are we having cutting boards that are plastic? Each time you're cutting into that plastic, you're getting those microplastics, those forever chemicals. There are really crazy studies that we all have microplastics in our brain and our gut, and those don't go away. They can show even babies that are freshly born, they have microplastics in their body now. So we want to take plastic away from our world. We're going to talk about some swaps in just a minute. Plastics, yes, I already got into it. So 50,000 microplastics per year are what we are consuming. You are eating plastic, which you would never just chew on plastic, but on a daily basis, that's how much we're consuming. And that's through your food, water, and even the air that we are breathing. And our water. The top sources of toxins in tap water are heavy metals. You're looking at chlorine, fluoride, pesticides being a huge one. This one's super scary, pharmaceutical residues. You would never just go grab someone's medication and eat it, pushes all the pesticides, all these things over here into the water that we drink. And yes, it goes through filtration systems. But if we look at Norman water, this is from 2013 to 2024, so this is recent. Out of 36 total contaminants, 16 of them exceeded the EWG's health guidelines. So we know that it's not good, the water that we are exposed to, but it's there, and it's for everyone. I just went on Google and did this. So it's not like this is a hidden fact. It is there, and they know that what we're putting in our body isn't good for us there. So go to this website. It's really, really informative. You can look at all these things and what are the actual contaminants in it, and then you can learn what they're trying to do to fix it, or you can even advocate for it to be changed. All right, so the trusted brands really that we are doing and that we are exposed to, only 1% of them are tested for safety. So 1% out of every single thing is tested for safety in there, which is super scary and alarming. The cleaning products that we are using on a daily basis. On the cleaning products, most of them, it says if you ingest this, call poison control, which absolutely. But if you get it on your skin, that's okay. If you breathe it in, that's okay too. How does that make sense? If you can't drink it, then it's okay that it goes through your skin or that it goes through your respiratory system, even into your brain in there. So we're looking at VOCs causing respiratory issues, hormone disruption, like fragrances. Probably one of the worst things that we could have in a cleaning product is a fragrance. Yes, it makes us smell good, but so do essential oils, and those aren't gonna cause all of those things there. And really the long-term effects are carcinogens. Almost every single one, if you look down at the bottom, there is some type of FDA warning that a carcinogen is in that. And carcinogens cause cancer in our body. There's a reason why we all know someone in our life who has cancer, and it's steadily increasing from there. The next one is personal care products. This is for everyone, like I talked about before, but specifically for women. I kind of want to go through the things that we're putting on our body on a daily basis. Nails, we're looking at lipstick, eyeshadow, shampoo. These are small numbers, I recognize that, but a body lotion typically has 32 chemicals in it. You can look at things from rash to irritation to hormone disruption, foundation, blush, deodorant, hairspray. Those are all things that we do on a daily basis that we are putting on our body. We add these up, studies have shown that it's over 700 chemicals just with your morning routine. Yes, ma'am?
What's a paraben and
A phthalates.
What are those?
Great question. Yes. So those are hormone disruptors. Is
But
what they are.
is it an ingredient?
It
Like-
is.
So like when they make the product, they're putting a paraben and a phthalate into the product.
Correct. For no reason, really, is what it is. And if we look over here, the most worrying, like a phthalate here, that's linked to hormone disruption, fertility issues, linked to cancer, and problems of developing babies over there. So it's just ingredients that help it like dry faster. Like
It's an ingredient.
It's an ingredient, yes. Or it helps it absorb into your skin a little bit easier, which is super scary. Or it helps your hair slick down even more in there. And we can talk about hairspray in a minute actually, because obviously I slick my hair back, but it matters what you're putting on your body in that way. So over here, yes, the fragrances, the formaldehyde in there. Formaldehyde is for a preservative. That's why they put it in people once they pass away to preserve them. We don't need that. Your makeup should not last you 3 years. It should last you a very short amount of time because it should go bad if it's a clean one in there. So great question. Thank you for asking that. Looking here, airborne toxins in your home. Your home can be 2 to 5 more times higher in pollutants actually than the outdoors. So when we think about when we walk in somewhere that smells good, yeah, that's awesome. But it really at what cost? We're putting things in the walls. You have candles going. Those are phthalates, parabens, fragrances, things like that, all linked to those issues that we had talked about before. So it matters the smells that are happening in your home and really where you're going on a daily basis. Dr. Jill told me a fun story the other day. She walked into her daughter's school and they had every single plug had a fragrance diffuser in it. And she, being an advocate for her kid, stopped it. She said, no, that's not happening. Do you know what this does to kids? Do you know that it causes ADD, ADHD? It doesn't help them throughout school on a daily basis. So she advocated, she got it changed, but it's because they didn't know. We can't be mad at places who don't know these types of things in there. So speaking of like Bath and Body Works, have you ever walked by or gone in and then you leave with a headache? There's a reason for that. So it matters, and we're gonna talk about how we can get this out of our home here. So let's break free of toxins. I understand this can be extremely overwhelming. That's maybe why you're here, to get a couple little things to start doing. Because if you go into your house and just say, I'm gonna get rid of everything, it's not realistic. You're gonna be overwhelmed, you're gonna spend a lot of money, honestly, and you're probably gonna quit because it's gonna be too much for you. So we're gonna look at some specific things that we can be doing. I want you to think about when we're going through these things of like, what are your top 3 of tips here that you can do today, and then slowly over time start incorporating. So first, we're gonna identify the sources of toxins. So we can look at all things from what we are cleaning with, what we are sleeping on, the clothes that we're putting on our body, the air that we're breathing, the candles that we have, and different things like that. So that's what we're gonna deep dive into. In your packet, there are 3 different scanning things for you. There is a EWG Skin Deep, so we're thinking of the products that we're putting on our body, cleaning products, and the Yucca app. These are all 3 things that you can scan any item really in your home, and you can see how toxic it is. And it will tell you why it's toxic, and it will also tell you what specific ingredients are on there. So it's really great. I will tell you this, you can go down a rabbit hole, and you can kind of get obsessed with it and like, well, nothing's good in my home, I need to get rid of everything. Yeah, take a step back, realize that it's not gonna be in one day that's gonna happen, but this is really great. Going around the store before you buy something, that's a really great thing. Scan it, and if it's not on there, or if it is really giving you a bad rating, don't get it. There are alternatives at Walmart, at Target, at Natural Grocers, at Sprouts. They are there for you. So, looking at water here, we talked about why our water is bad, but we didn't talk about how we can filter it. What filtering your water does is it removes the toxins, so it can get rid of the lead, chlorine, fluoride. It improves your health because clean water supports your hydration, your detoxing, and then just your overall wellness, and then it protects your family. It really is from those harmful chemicals lingering in tap water. We clean our babies in water, we shower in water, even if you're not drinking it, you are when you're brushing your teeth. It gets in your mouth and absorbs through there. So different ways that we can filter our water. One, you could go out and you could build a new home and you could put a whole filtration system in it, which is awesome. I wish we could all do that. I can't do that. I live in a rent house. So you can buy a filtration for underneath your sink. Once again, I can't do that. I live in a rent house. Yes, and it is expensive. Other things that we can be doing, there are faucet filters. There are shower head filters. Super inexpensive. They're on Amazon. Honestly, is where I got mine. If you want a link, I can send it to you. And what it does is it helps filter that out. You can change it about every 3 to 6 months. You will notice a difference. I immediately did with my hair, my skin once I started using that. And it can be screwed on, screwed off, no damage done. Another one is, we've all seen the Brita filter, we've all seen those different ones. Yes, there's some controversy with the Brita filter, but is it better than nothing? Yes, it is. Those are ones that you can just pour water in, it filters it, keep it in your fridge, keep it on your counter. Those can be really good. So really pay attention to your water. It isn't just what we're drinking, it's what we're putting on our body on a daily basis, from the shower to brushing your teeth and all those different types of things. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You don't have to do the full filtration for your whole home. There. Filtering your air. So air filtration devices, kind of like this one here, there are 1,000,001 different sizes. So there's really small ones, there are huge home filter ones. Once again, those can get expensive and can get very overwhelming to have one in every room of your house. But at least having one in a big area like where you're cooking is really great. And just investing, honestly. That's a thing that is an investment over time, but you will notice a difference there. Ceiling fan filters. This is something that I did not know about and that most people don't know about. There are coconut carbon filters that are little sticky pads. You put them on top of each of your ceiling fan blades, and it actually helps filter the air. I took mine off after moving into my home after a couple months today, but we're on a super windy day. But open your windows, turn your AC off, get the fresh air circulating throughout your home. You can do this just through windows, you can open the doors. It matters. It will make a difference in your world, especially after you are cooking or after you have people in your home who might be wearing perfumes and fragrances and things like that. Open the doors, get that fresh air in. And then plants. What plants, you ask? These are air cleaning plants. Some of my favorite ones that I have in my home, I have a spider plant, I have a snake plant. You really might not think that it can make a difference, but it does. There is a reason why in a greenhouse when you walk in, you take a deep breath of air, it feels good. You can breathe good in one of those places. This is what plants are meant to do for us, is filter the air around us. Yes, we have a good amount of trees here, but if you can fill your home with plants, it's gonna make a massive difference for you. I'll let everyone take a picture of it. And because some of these are pretty ones too. I mean, the Gerber daisy, who would have thought that a Gerber daisy could make a big difference? And they're a pot mum. So those are really great. Fill your house with plants. I will say some of these are toxic to cats. So do your research on there. I do not want your cat to ingest any of those. All right, so some really easy kitchen swaps. Anything plastic, slowly over time, the goal would be to get rid of those things. So we want to be looking at glass and stainless steel to store our food in there. Plastic utensils are something that we forget about a lot. When you are using one of those things up there, but you're still using that plastic, it will eventually shed over time. There's a reason why you have to get rid of your plastic cookware after a while. It melts. So that's really scary. If that's melting, it's also melting into your food. Those little tiny microplastics will be coming off there. And then cookware, cast iron, stainless steel. Those are gonna be your best bets for any type of cookware on there. Yes, cookware is expensive, I recognize that, but it's a slow change kind of over time. But at least starting here with those utensils is gonna make a difference. I did talk a little bit about the cutting board, but I do wanna go back to that. Knives are great, because yes, they normally are plastic, it really wouldn't work. But when you're cutting into a plastic cutting board, those divots that you see on there, those are microplastics going into your body. So like a wood cutting board is gonna be a lot better for you, or you can even get other ones that are made from like stainless steel and things like that. So, household cleaners and products. Switching natural cleaning products can reduce your toxic load up to 60%. So if you want one quick easy fix, it's this. 60% is massive. Here's some great brands. There's Norwex, ECOS, essential oils. That's on there because one, you can make essential oil ones, and some of those we'll talk about in a minute. Or things like Young Living and doTERRA, they already have cleaners actually that you can just purchase. So if you're like, no, I'm not gonna make it, just buy one from there, and they're really great products. Or making your own. How do you make your own, you ask? There's a recipe on the very back of all of your notes. It has a lot. There are all things from cleaning products to dish soap and really different things like that. I would be happy to, after this, or at any other time, go over how to make those things. We could maybe even host like a little workshop of how to make it, which would be really fun there. Alrighty, so foods. This is probably where it gets kind of the most overwhelming is, well, what can I eat? Everything's bad for you, even the organic stuff, and I recognize that. So let's kind of go through this. Buying organic is your best bet though. So prioritize organic produce, especially the Dirty Dozen, which we're gonna chat about in a minute. Choosing grass-fed and wild caught. So we're avoiding antibiotics and hormones in meat and seafood. That is massive. Dr. Brent, if you've ever been to one of his workshops, he says you are what you eat, because what the cow eats matters. What the cow has in their body matters for you. So pay attention to those things. We want to ditch those processed foods, so focusing on the fresh, whole ingredients instead of packaged items. When you're looking at a store, you want to shop on the outside versus the inside. The inside is all of those massive shelves of processed food. The outside is when you have to get the little, not plastic bag, we don't want to do those, put your produce in it, and then take it. That's what you want to be shopping more of. And then reading labels. So these are, I'd say, the four big things. Artificial sweeteners, dyes, and preservatives is what you want to avoid. Your food should not last on your shelf for years. That is alarming if your food does that. Yes, there's like canning and things like that that can last quite a while, but just your everyday foods that you're buying from the store shouldn't be lasting you that long. So this is the Dirty Dozen Clean 15. Each year what they do is they come out with the highest foods that have pesticides, your fruits and your vegetables. So this, well 2024, not 2025 because they haven't done it yet, your Dirty Dozen. Strawberries, spinach, peaches, blueberries, all of those on there. Those are your most pesticide-ridden foods in the year of 2024, which those are healthy foods, but they have actually found pesticides on them. That doesn't mean that you can't eat them. That means that you need to clean your produce though. So you can clean with like vinegar, it can be really good, just vinegar and water. You can get a lot off. You can buy some really great actual fruits and vegetable cleaning sprays at like Sprouts, Natural Grocers, and things like that. Your Clean 15 is what they have found in 2024 are your cleanest things to eat, the most non-pesticide things. So we're looking at asparagus, pineapple, watermelon, mushrooms. Typically, if you see things that have like this outer layer on them that you peel, those are typically better because it protects it. Yes, like a carrot doesn't have an outer layer, but it can if you like peel the outside of it on there. Some of those things don't, I recognize that, but that's what they have found in the past year. This does change every year, so it's something to pay attention to on there of, hey, I get that and I have just been washing it off with water. Maybe let's do another step and let's try to get those pesticides off of it. Anything that has a film on it, those are your pesticides that you're seeing on there. So like an apple, you shouldn't be able to like scratch it and get something off of it. Yeah, no, we want to clean that off. Okay. Alright, so what are the best things that you can be eating to help anti-inflammatory and antioxidants, which are helping you detox on a daily basis? Berries, they are high in vitamin C and polyphenols, which are really great for you. They help fight inflammation. Your leafy greens, this has the chlorophyll in it. Your turmeric and ginger, this is a huge anti-inflammatory. So if you're thinking like, my gosh, it always hurts, my joints hurt in there, turmeric and ginger are going to be awesome for you. Your healthy fats here. So I talked about that we have to have fats for our brain development and our brain to stay healthy over time. Avocados, nuts, olive oils, even really good fish. It's getting rough out there. Are really great there. Your green tea. This is rich in catechins, which help the body flush out toxins. Because once again, we are meant to flush out toxins. Sometimes we just have to help our body in that way. Looking at our non-toxic personal care. These are all brands that are clean that either I use, Dr. Jill uses, anyone in the office might use these. So the first one is 100% pure. This is makeup, lotion, face wash, moisturizer, shampoo, conditioner. Super, super great brand to start switching out your products. You don't need to go home and throw away everything, but as you run out of something, choose something from this list to buy new. They are not that expensive. They are not going to be higher than your other ones in there, because I use these, I know the prices on them. Well, people, this is one that's super great. This one is at Target, actually. So if you don't want to have to go online, wait for something to come in, all that, this one's super great because it's there. Earthly is one that we do have in our office. It's a really great brand. It has everything from tinctures to lotions to balms, soaps. Those are just staples in our world. Earth Mama, this one is really great for moms. Personal care, sunscreen, soaps, teas. This has a lot with babies and kiddos. Charlie Soap, if you are looking at for laundry detergent, stain removers, kitchen and bathroom cleaners, that's gonna be your best. But if you don't wanna make something, I would say that that one's a super great one to start incorporating there. Ogi, this is a new one that I recently learned about. It is a makeup product. So once again, just another alternative that you could be using. And then the last one is Sky and Soul. This one is a super clean sunscreen. So as we go into summer, Sky and Soul is gonna be your best friend. Think is also a good one. It's at Sprouts. I don't know where else it is. Yes, Think. Yes, Think. And there's Think Sport, Think Baby, just Think in general for your body. This one also has soaps and body creams. relatively new. It is currently growing right now of getting more and more products, but super great sunscreen. I know it works because Dr. Jill uses it on her kiddos when they were gone the other week. They didn't get sunburn, and they also didn't put toxins
Where
on their
did
body.
she buy it?
She got it online.
Sky and Soul?
Sky and Salt, yes.
So I would think sunscreen would be a really important one.
It's huge, yes, and it's really something that is vital. Yes, you don't want your kid to get sunburned, but if you look at what is in sunscreen, it's actually some of the most toxic products in there. So, super important that you're putting clean sunscreen on your body. There are also sun shields, which is a little bit different. Sunscreen is actually going to make you not like absorb the sun for your body, which yes, there are benefits to that. A sun shield is just gonna block you from the harmful rays kind of at it. So there's two different ways that you can go about it. Earthly has a sun shield. So if your kid is maybe naturally a little more darker, doesn't typically get sunburns, that's a safer route to go down. But if you are like me and you get sunburned very easy, this is what I will be using throughout the summer. There. All right, I do want to talk a little bit about toxicity during pregnancy. Kind of looking here, we already talked about this, really the skin kind of going through there. But once again, when our babies are coming to this world, we are really seeing that they're starting to get really toxic overload, small ages with it. So it matters what you put on your baby as well. I can go through after if anyone has any more questions, or you can follow my social media and kind of learn, well, what are safer things to be putting on your baby's bodies. There are things from diaper creams to lotions to things for cradle cap even. A lot of people ask me questions like that, and it usually can just be a simple switch, or maybe that you're putting too much, you need to back off. Stop putting so much stuff on babies. There. So, another aspect of what we do in our office is we talk a lot about supplements. We talk a lot about, well, how can we aid our body? Because we do have this toxic overload, and it becomes too much, and you can't get rid of it. So sometimes we need to add in supplements to help us. The foundational three, you might have heard Dr. Brent talk about it already, but these are three things that studies have shown that cover your basis. Like on a daily basis, if we're like, well, what can I take and not to take anything else? You can take 3 things a day and really be covered. This is not for kids, but for an adult. You're looking at your inflammation and immune support. So decreasing inflammation in your body, we all have inflammation. Your immune support, so boosting that immune system on a daily basis. Your cellular health and longevity. So we're thinking long term, we're thinking our brain health, we're thinking preventing things like Alzheimer's, dementia in there. And then on the cellular level, how are they functioning? Because things like cancer, it's your cells are really attacking each other, and your cells are really dysregulated and creating different things in there, and that goes back to your cellular health. And then your digestion and detox. This is what we're gonna get into a little bit more here. So, really what this is down to its core, is it combats glyphosate. What is glyphosate, you ask? It is a widely used herbicide in our world. It is probable human carcinogen. It's linked to hormone disruption. It causes gut microbiome imbalance. We all know someone who has a gut issue, or if it's not us. And then it has an increased cancer risk there. So what this does is it actually combines 5 clinically studied probiotic strains with botanicals, bovine, restorative digestive balance, detoxifies your body, supports nutrition absorption, and it really helps a healthy gut microbiome while enhancing your natural detoxification pathways. We don't want it to detox for us. We want something that enhances our natural body's ability in there. So on a daily basis, we should all be taking this at the bare minimum. We have to get rid of the 70,000 toxic chemicals that are happening to us, and this is a great one. So if you are like doing a multivitamin, you're doing vitamin D, all these types of different things, you could just be taking these 3 simple things and make it easy on yourself. But at a bare minimum, I would highly advise the digestion and detox on there. This is really new to our office actually, is this detox, and people have started taking it, and we've already seen people lose weight, we've seen people get off of different medications, heal their gut with it. Like I said, this is for adults, so you have to keep that in mind. We can talk a little bit more about kids.
How is this different than the detox you guys did carry?
So that's an intense detox system. That's meant to be like a 30-day, we're gonna fully detox our body. This is meant to be an everyday type of thing. The idea is if you're taking this year round, you don't have to do one of those on there. So
Do you get
Yes.
that on the internet or where do you buy
you
it?
can actually get it here. That's a great question. Yes. So these are the three here. If you go through your packet, there's actually an order form on there. And today what we're offering is 20% off of any one of these three. Or as a bundle, you can get 20% off of it also. Like I said, this is meant to be a long-term thing. Instead of having to take like a multivitamin, a whole packet of that, the goal would be that you could take these three year-round and be set. And then you wouldn't have to do a full body detox because your body on a daily basis is getting rid of those chemicals on there. So on that form, like I said, you can fill it out. After we'll talk a little bit about it more. We'll make sure that you guys are set up there. So another 5 essential that you so wonderfully mentioned is exercise. Exercise matters, and it's not like you need to go lift weights. You don't have to be super sweating on a daily basis, but you need to be moving your body. Sweating releases toxins, it improves circulation, and enhances your lymphatic function. That's how we flush out toxins, is we move our body, and then natural pathways are pushing those toxins out in there. So it matters. You gotta move your body to help it function on a daily basis there. Managing stress is a huge one. I can't take away your stress, and I talk about this a lot with my patients, is I wish I could, but I can help your body adapt to stresses better. Stress weakens your immune system, and it increases inflammation in your body. When we're stressed, we don't feel good. We get sick more. Yeah, because that's what it's supposed to do to our body. But if we're managing those stresses better and we're decreasing our toxic load, you are gonna have less stress on your body in there. Plus, when you are adapting to stresses better, your nervous system is gonna be functioning better, you're gonna be feeling better overall. You're gonna be a better person. No one's their best self when they're stressed at the end of the day there. And it's not about taking your stresses away, because that's not realistic. It's how we're managing them in our body. And toxicity is going to create that cortisol just to spike. So, your body is designed to detox. You have a liver for a reason, you have kidneys, you sweat, your respiratory system, coughing, sneezing, you're getting rid of toxins. There's a reason for it. Your digestive system, there's a reason why we get rid of waste in our body, and then your lymphatic system. Those are all the different systems that we are born with. Your innate intelligence tries to get rid of things, but on a daily basis, just the toxic overload is why we get these symptoms, why we get these diseases going on in there. And really then, this goes to health is 100% function. If our bodies are functioning 100%, you would be 100% healthy, which is always the end goal, yes. Is it realistic to say that you're gonna be functioning 100%? Probably not, no. The goal is always to be moving in that direction through the 5 essentials, because physical, chemical, and emotional stresses are pushing us to disease, pushing us to death eventually in there, but we know what it takes to be a healthy human, because it's not how you feel, it's how you're functioning in there. So chiropractic care, that's really down to the core of what we try to do in our office and try to incorporate is your body's meant to do this. It is meant to be healthy in here, but when these organs aren't functioning how they're supposed to because of a misalignment in our body, you can get to where diseases are happening. We always talk about in our office, we remove interference. God allows your body to heal, and that's how we are designed to do. And we do that through getting adjusted, through incorporating those other 5 essentials in there. So, I don't know if we have any guests in the group today? Hi, welcome. Thank you for being here, perfect. If you don't get adjusted in our office, we would love to have you here, and we offer discounts in our office for a reason. It's $37 to get your spine and nervous system checked, so we can make sure your body's functioning how it's supposed to. Because you could do everything right in the world, but if you have a misalignment, putting pressure on your spine, there's no way you're gonna be detoxing, functioning how you're supposed to in there. So, in a little bit we can talk about, well, how do I get scheduled? I wanna see what my body looks like. I wanna see what my x-rays look like. I wanna see where stress is in my body. I wanna see how I can be a healthier person, kind of in general there. So, really the warning signs that, hey, you might have toxic overload happening, things like headaches, brain fog, digestive issues, insomnia, hormone imbalances, acid reflux, depression. These are just the surface of it. There's so much more. You have this rash on your arm that won't go away. It's probably toxicity trying to leave your body. You have hormone imbalance of, well, around my cycle, this is happening, or pregnancy, infertility. That's a big one there. Brain fog, mom brain. I talk about it all the time. Why is your brain foggy? Well, it's probably because there's a toxic buildup in there. Headaches, yes, that's a big part of our world. Like I talked about, Bath and Body Works. You go in, you get a headache after. There's a reason there. So these are all warning signs of, hey, we gotta do something before it becomes a bigger issue kind of in there. We don't wanna wait until disease is happening when our body is telling us that there is already toxic buildup there. So I wanna go over some testimonies. Testimonies in our office are something that we're extremely passionate about because this is how we reach really the masses. This is how we tell people, we don't just pop your back, we don't just crack your neck. What we do in our office is we provide healing adjustments that allow your body to be in a healthier state. So this is Scarlett. This is me here adjusting a little girl. This is from her mom. She has had allergies and GI problems since birth. She had tubes put in, but they didn't work. She had to take daily allergy medication, essential oils, and some antibiotics when it got really bad. She was constantly sick. We would miss work activities because of her chronic illnesses. After getting adjusted, Scarlett's quality of life has improved drastically. Almost immediately, her runny nose stopped. Her GI issues have also improved. There's no more daily medication or urgent care runs. I can't recommend this clinic enough. She has multiple friends who go here, and she is an advocate for our office. She goes and tells other people this. Her child's life was changed because she recognized that there was a bigger issue. She got her kid's spine and nervous system checked, and we found misalignments that were creating dysfunction in her body. Think about a little girl who was on really daily medication. How wouldn't be able to go to a birthday party because she was having such bad digestive issues in there. And her world is different now. She gets to be the fun kid. She gets to have a normal life, all because we found that there was toxicity in her body. We helped her remove that and restored normal function to her body. This is Brad over here. He had horrible acid reflux for as long as he could remember, always had to take medication. You all know someone who is popping Tums on a daily basis. It might be you. You all know someone who, I can't eat that because it causes me to have acid reflux. That's not normal. You should be able to eat relatively whatever you want, and your body should be able to handle it. He's no longer now on medication, and he's feeling great because he got his spine and nervous system checked. He got an x-ray done. He saw exactly where that misalignment was. We took pressure off that nerve, his body healed, and he's functioning great now. Brad gets adjusted 1 time a month now. He no longer has to be here 3 times a week because he restored that function, got his body in that proper structural alignment, and he's doing awesome. So that could be you, that could be one of your friends. Those are just some of the small testimonies that I wanted to share of what getting rid of toxicity in your body can do. So we have some action steps here. We're gonna identify the top sources of toxins you are exposed to and start the process of replacing them. Like I talked about, 3 to 5 things that you can easily do. Doesn't have to be a lot. Go home, look at one thing, decide, hey, that's my one thing that I'm gonna change today in there. And then slowly over time, with the notes that you took, start incorporating these differences. Search your favorite items on there. Like I said, it can get really fun and you can really get down the rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, there's a lot in my house that is toxic. Yeah, and you're gonna slowly start replacing it. It's gonna be good. But start using those apps. Here, you can fill out the product form to get your resources. Your resources meaning get your supplements. It matters. It's not just a supplement you get from Walmart. It will make a massive difference in your body. You will lose weight. Your brain fog will start to decrease. Your body is going to function better on there. So take advantage of the 20% off. I also will say, today, because you are here, any supplement in the entire office, even the kid supplements, are 15% off today. So even if you want to get the vitamin D today because you ran out of it, get it. It's just a thank you for being here today. If you have any questions about any of the supplements or specifically the kid ones, I'd love to go over it with you. There are detoxes for kids as well. Next one is if you're a guest, schedule an appointment. It's $37 to get your body checked and we can see what's going on in there. Jenna, right back here, she is our really kind of our coordinator for patients wanting to get into the office, going out in the community, which goes into here. Pay it forward. If you know someone who should have been here today, because we're all thinking of like, man, that person has probably a lot of toxicity. I've been in their home. It smells like Bath and Body Works in there, get them here on their next one. She can help provide some information on that. We do wellness within programs, which means that we can go into your office, your church, your next function, and we can do a presentation like this. Dr. Britt, Dr. Stanton, or myself can really talk about anything you'd like us to talk about to help spread the word a little bit more. And then here, join us for future workshops and makeovers. If you've been a patient for a while, you know that we have done a lot of webinars. We're gonna start doing things like this more often. So you get to see our smiling faces on more Saturdays, which is awesome. But I will say that you guys are gonna be our on fire patients. You guys are gonna see the most difference in your life because you're coming to things like this. So keep it up. I'm proud of you all for being here, like I talked about a little bit earlier. But if you're thinking of someone else, make sure they're here on the next one because guests can come and they're very much welcome. So I just want to thank everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. Like I said, you guys are on fire. You guys are going to make a difference in the world, and I can't wait to see how your impact of learning